Today I'll be showing you guys how you can create your own ships in Stellar Warfare. Or actually mod your own ships using either 3D models that you've made yourself or 3D models that you download from the internet. Go to the Stellar Warfare Discord or and the modding channel there. Go to the pinned messages and open the GitHub. That allows you to get over here. And here you can find the settings that you need to upload your own mods. Obviously, you can also just put this link into your browser. You don't need to go to Discord if you don't have Discord or don't like Discord. Yeah, I'm most active there, but it's up to you. First step is to download this version of Unity, which is on this side. You can either download it for Mac or for Windows. And after that, I would also install Unity Hub. I wouldn't install Unity Hub first and then try to get this version, because Unity Hub might tell you that that particular version isn't available and suggest another version, and then you'll have the wrong version, and if you have the wrong version it doesn't work. So first download or the Windows build of Unity or the Mac build of Unity. After that, install Unity Hub. Or try it the other way around and hope that you can get this version. Next up is downloading and importing this Unity package. If you click it, then press download here. It will obviously start downloading in a second. Then what you need to do next is open Unity and load this package into it. So you just installed Unity, you just installed Unity Hub, and you created a Unity account and signed in. Then you get to this screen where you'll have to click New Project. This will be your modding tool, so it doesn't have to be the name of your mod. You can just say modding tool or whatever. But you have to really make sure that up here you select the correct editor version. If you downloaded the Unity Hub and the editor version separately, then you can just open Unity Hub, make sure it's open, and then just run Unity itself. This version of Unity, the correct version, and it should also work. The reason why Unity Hub is needed is simply because otherwise it might give you an error nowadays, because Unity Hub is required for the sign-in, even if you have older versions of Unity. Didn't used to be like that, but for now it is. The important part is make sure that you create a new Unity project using this version. And then you click Create Project, that's all. Then you open the project. This might take a bit, so I'll cut it off here as well. Now that the project is open, you can start adding your own ships. I already did some changes in this one, but we will be adding a new ship here just to show you guys how it's done. These two mod prefabs come with the mod already, and it's like a demo ship, and this is where you put your own ship in, but you can press Ctrl and D and duplicate this and just say Star Destroyer, for instance. Get a 3D model from the internet and put that 3D model in here. Actually, let's do that right now. So I'm googling free 3D model Star Destroyer. I'm opening Sketchfab. Am I logged in? Yep. You might need to make an account, of course. Then Star Destroyer. I'll actually use the search here, because then I can select downloadable. And sort by relevance. Most recent. I thought there was a filter for prices as well. No, this is the filter. Alright. So yeah, let's find one we like. Ooh, I like this one actually. I'm gonna download that one as well. And this one. So you open them. And you download the 3D model. Blend to use this. I'm not quite sure Unity allows for these versions. Usually I want to try an OBJ. But I'll download this anyway and we'll test it in a second. Of course the back button doesn't work. Oh, I have no idea what's going on, but okay. Right, so let's instead also try to get this one. Do keep the triangles in mind. This is an insane amount of triangles for a ship of this complexity. The amount of triangles is the amount of polygons, and it's the amount of faces the 3D model has basically that it's made out of. The more polygons you have, the less good it's going to run in game. So for instance, our light ships in game usually have about 1,000 polygons, maybe 1,500. Our mediums have about 3,000, and our really big ships have about 24,000. But those are fairly optimized models. These, as you can see, are usually made by amateurs, people who do it as a hobby. So they don't take industry standards into mind, or you know, they don't. They don't know the techniques to do that properly. Here, this is almost the same Star Destroyer, only 6K polygons. Sure, it looks a little bit less good, but you know, it's also literally, what was the other one? 1 million. So 6,000 to 1 million, it's 200 times smaller. 2,000? 20? I don't know, something along those lines. I don't do math. So we downloaded this Star Destroyer. Oh, and this one is 50 bucks, so I'm not going to download that right now. I'm still poor. Let's get another one, just for fun. Yeah, very cool. Downloadable, animated, show restricted. Oh, wait. I have no idea what this is. This one looks cool too. Okay, it's free. I'm downloading this. Right, so now we have a bunch of ships, and I'm going to extract these into a folder because I don't want to upload the entire zip folder. So I'm going to extract each of these in its own folder, and then I'll continue the video. Actually, I already extracted them into 2 separate folders, but you see there's another zip in here, so I'm going to extract this here as well. I'm going to delete the zip, same here, extract this. Oh, extract here. And the reason I'm doing that is because maybe Unity doesn't like zip files and it has a hard time scanning them. So I try to only have image files and object files and stuff like that in there. Alright, so that's the preparation phase done. I'm now going to make a subfolder in Unity. One for the Star Destroyer. And one for the... I don't know what ship that was, but I'm gonna call it a deck ship. Sorry, I Should have recorded this some other time because my throat is hurting a little bit, but people wanna wanna see how this works. So I'm now gonna drag this into here. That's that one done. And then I'm going to take the other one, drag that into there. Okay, so then we have the Star Destroyer. This is the prefab that will hold everything the model needs. So I'm gonna put that in that folder as well. And I'm gonna do the same, or I'm gonna make another one for the deck ship. Now, as you can see, in this folder, we have this Star Destroyer. I'm opening it. And we need the model in here. So I'm going to drag this into here. I'm going to set the position to 0, 0, 0. I'm going to drag it underneath the mesh folder. Sorry. Probably not so pleasant on the ears, but I can't help it right now. And then rescale it like so. And then you can select the old one, press delete. And then you already know the size reference as well. I think there's a destroyer in the project as well. You can drag that into here, set it to 0, 0, 0. And then you know what the scale is compared to a regular destroyer ship in the game. But I'm going to delete this again. I'm going to click the shields. Wait, I'm going to save first. I'm going to click the shield and increase the shield size. Why can't I see it? Okay, and disable the mesh renderer again. Enable it again. I'm going to press... Okay, so if you press Q, you get the selector or the hand. If you press W, you get the move tool. If you press E, you get the rotate tool. And if you press R, you get the scaling tool. So you can also make the shield fit the ship a little bit better like this. Maybe move it up a bit. There you go. And make sure to disable the shield mesh as well after that. Okay, so now we have the ship in here. Now we need to apply the textures. I think you can just drag and drop it. Okay, maybe not. See, this is like a properly built model. It's made out of cubes that have been modified, and that's why the polygon count is way lower than the other one. There are a bunch of guns on here. Since they won't be working, I'll be deleting them. Oh, I can't delete them. Then I have to right click this, go to prefab, unpack completely. And now when I select them, I can press delete. The looking around, I'm doing that by holding down the Alt with my thumb and then clicking and dragging left mouse. Scrolling, holding middle mouse and dragging. So this is how you move around. Right, so we have the Star Destroyer now. Now we need some materials. Let's start with whatever the bridge is. That's this one. I think this material belongs here. And this all depends on what type of model you're using. How many textures it has, but it doesn't come too narrowly. This looks like an engine, yeah. Main ship. Not sure. I'm just going to put whatever main ship is onto the main ship. You can do this with as much care and planning as you want, of course. I'm just being efficient for the sake of the video. These ancients, what are they? Ship 2. Maybe that's a different texture for the ship. Maybe that's for this area. Not quite sure. Ship 1 looks better here. Right, so this looks about how it should be. Then we still have the engines. For that I'm going to use... Oh, communications should be this one probably. And no idea what this is. Ah, cannon. This was just a guess. If this was named better, then it would be easier. But I'm just trying out several ones, and because the cannons were on the deck, I figured, okay, maybe the engines were also apart from the rest of the ship. And here we have 2 tiny cannons again. And some sphere. I don't know what this is. But I'm gonna put ship 2 on it. Nope. Cannon maybe. Nope. No, I'm deleting it. I don't know what it is. I don't like it. Goodbye. Ship 1 maybe? Or ship 2? Control Z. Ship 2. What's this? Oh, there's some more cannons right here. And here, I don't know what this is. This is cannon. Okay, I don't think these add that much to the model. I'm going to delete them. Right, so this looks about done. If you guys want to follow along, all these instructions are obviously also on here and then here. So we're doing this right now. Don't change the scale of the game object. With that, Nicholas refers to this one. Do not change this one. Keep this at scale 111. Add your mesh to the mesh object. We just did that. Add your mesh to the mesh collider root object. Yeah, that's phrased a bit weirdly perhaps, but what it means is the colliders is where the impacts will happen. And yeah, you need to put that on the main object for now. Earlier I tried to set the shield size and I couldn't really see the size of it, and that's because gizmos were off. You have to click this in order to see these type of things. And when you click the Star Destroyer, you also see this collider underneath. That's from the old ship. I'm actually going to replace that with a box because a box is more efficient. So I'm going to remove this, but perhaps you could also use the Star Destroyer. No, it's not one model. If you do have a 3D program, you could combine it all into one model and then have a mesh collider based on that. But for now, we'll just be using boxes because in the heat of combat, no one's going to see that anyway. So add component, box collider, increase the length of it. It's pretty hard to see on the video probably, but you could see it extruding here. A bit more, like so. Gonna move it back a little bit. Okay, so it's already pretty much the length of the ship. I'm going to increase the width of it a bit, like so. Maybe even like this. I'm going to copy it. I'm going to paste it as new. Copy all, make smaller but wider. Move it back more. so ish. Make it less wide. It doesn't have to be perfect. Collision in games isn't perfect anyway. So as long as you roughly cover each area, you're good. Base component is new. And then we'll do one more at the back here somewhere. Wider. And then make this less big, like so. Alright, so we now have a bunch of box colliders, and as you can see it covers everything, and that's where the projectiles will impact. I'm actually going to make one more and make it higher for the bridge. Like so. Less wide. Oh, I do want it to be higher than this. Like so. Like so. To the back a little bit. Alright, so now we have colliders everywhere on the ship. You see the cubes, and that's where the projectiles will hit. We also need to set the turret points, so I'm selecting this one, and this is where the weapons will be. I'm pressing F to zoom on it, and then I'm moving it like this. If you pick the red one, it will stay on this axis. If you pick this one, then it will stay on the flat axis. You'll just have to experiment with that a little bit. I'm pressing F again, 2 times. Okay, so now the turret is placed here. If I click the Star Destroyer again, you have to make sure it's outside of these collision boxes, otherwise when it starts firing it might hit its own ship, and you don't want that. Okay, so weapon 1 was over here. I actually want this up front, like here. Up a bit. Check for collision. It looks fine in terms of collision. No, it will be in there, so I'm gonna make this collider a bit less high. Like so. Even less high. Nope, that's not height. Yeah, like so. Here you can see this line, it goes through the ship. So that means that everything above it is free from the prefab, from the collision box. Okay, turret 1. And you can also just delete these, then duplicate this with Ctrl D and rename it to turret slot 2, and then it will also work, and then you'll already have this position. So then all you have to do is move it back, move it up a little bit, press FF, up a little bit more. Yeah, this is a good spot for turret number 2. And I think we want the other turrets here and here. But you can make up to 5. I'm going to make 3, but 4 I mean. But you can have up to 5. I'm gonna make 1 over here. Make sure it's outside the collider again. Collider is running over here. So that should be good. Duplicate this. 4. And you can do 1 more. Right now we support up to 5 different weapons per ship. Holding Alt again to look around. Up a bit. Checking if outside the box collider, but we know it is because it runs up here. So yeah, that's it for the turret slots. Module slots should all be inside the ship because things like laser shields fire from these positions. Laser shields are used to shoot down missiles. Then we have the engines. I wouldn't scale these up too much because they can get quite big. Pressing F. Moving it up like this. moving it back like this, moving it like this, and inside a little bit. Pressing F again, and you can change the color here as well. So if you want to make it blend, then you can do that like this. Then we have one engine. I'm going to delete this one. I'm going to duplicate this one so that the position and the size are already good. Duplicate again. Rotate a bit to make sure that the positions are right. Duplicate again. I don't know if I said this already, but I wouldn't make the engines bigger because they get super bright. But if you want, you can make them smaller. So I'm going to make this 2, 2, 2, like so. Actually, I'm going to take all the main ones and make them a little bit smaller as well, because they do get kind of bright in game. 1, 1, 1. That's fine. Duplicate. Down a little bit, and like this. I'm going to duplicate both of these, and I'm going to just move it, put a minus in front of it on the x-axis to get the positions right. So now we have all the engines. Cool. I don't think I'll be doing the second ship, or the tutorial might become too long, but I'll do the preparations for it anyway. And then the selection circle. This will show if the ship is selected or not. You can move it to a position you like better. We did this with the turret slots. You shouldn't rotate them even below the ship, because the game detects this automatically. Right now, you can have up to 5 turrets and up to 4 modules. So we have 4 turrets right now and 3 modules, so we're within range. But you can have 1 more turret and 1 more module if you want. You can use that to balance your ships with the current in-game balancing. Modules should be placed inside the model. Place the impact points on your ship where it should be targeted. Yeah, this one is an important one. As you can see, this one's outside the ship. And some AI ships will use this to fire at. So if a missile gets shot at this from above, for instance, it would just fly past, and you don't want that. So put that inside the model, preferably inside a collider. Same with this one. Gonna move this to the middle somewhere. Same with this one. Same with this one. And then we have 5, and we're gonna put this inside the bridge. And this is why I rotate the model so much, because then you can see if from another perspective you're still in the right place. But right now this looks good. Up a little bit. It's in the bridge collider. It's all good. So yeah, gizmos is how you toggle these colliders and other elements. I'll leave it on because it's useful. Enable the mesh renderer on the shield and fit the size. Right, you need to enable it, but you also need to disable that. So Nicholas, if you're watching this, please update this. And also this step, let's see, add your mesh as a child of the mesh game object. Yeah, this could use some rephrasing as well, because that just means put your 3D model in this mesh folder inside your prefab. Move, duplicate the engine flames as you like. We already did that. Set the height of the selection circle. We did that as well. If you have color texture variants, we don't, but you can add those to the mod folder. They should have the same name followed by a color prefix. So right now, these textures, go to materials, then you have this ship 1 texture. You can have multiple colors for this. So if you duplicate this and you call it ship1 underscore blue, for instance, these are the allowed colors, then you can change the color of that texture. So for instance, this one, ship1, you can change this color like so. So you can make certain elements of your ship change colors depending on the color of the faction. I'm pressing Ctrl Z a few times. I did notice something else though. I'm going to delete this. And what I noticed was when you go to this texture, it just has the albedo texture. And you also see it has an illumination and a normal. So I'm going to put this normal over here. Fix. And that gives it some extra depth and quality as well. I'm gonna do the same for ship 2. See how this changes? Ctrl Z, Ctrl Y. It adds more depth to the model. Canon normal map. Fix. Fix. Main ship. Oh. Did we need that for this? Don't know. Main ship. Normal map. Fix. Ah, that's that part. I'm not sure. Ah, emission. That's nice. So, main ship, illumination, I think that's emission. Correct me if I'm wrong on that one. You don't have to do that, but depending on the model, it does make it look a bit nicer. Emission, illumination. Yeah, see? The lights get brighter. And this all depends on how complicated your model is. If you have a simpler model, you're done a lot sooner than this. Because there's also models with one model, one texture, and yeah, those are a lot easier to work with. This is a normal map, emissions. Am I blind? No. Emission. There we go. Engines look nicer too. Communications is the last one. Communications normal map. It doesn't have one. Oh, so this one also only has one texture. Alright. And proa, yeah, none of us knows what proa is and what that's used for, but there you go. We now have a Star Destroyer in the game. Right. Up next. Yeah, here we have the standard texture names. And the underscore blue underscore red, I already showed you how to do that. And that's just copying this. Make sure you use capital B instead of lowercase b, like so. And then you can copy this and do the same for red. And then what the game will do, if you make this red, and you can even test it by putting it on like this to what colors, areas you want a different color, this one for instance. And what the game will do is it will load this one normally, or the blue one actually, blue one is the default. And then when you change the colors in the game, it will look for a material with the same name. And so if this blue texture is in, and there's also a red texture, and you change the color to red in the game, then it changes from this color to this color. So that's that. I'm not going to do that for now. I just want the ship in the game. Next up, edit the config.json. This is in the mod folder. config. Might take a second to open, but this is just the general mod information. So I'm going to call this star destroyer mod Thomas in a galaxy far, far away. Mod version doesn't matter for now, game version doesn't matter for now. We might add some functionality to that in the future. Next up is the ship modifications.json. This one is very important because this lists all the ships that you have in the game. First you have to give it a name. I'm going to call it Star Destroyer. I already had the Battlestar in this one, so I'm going to Ctrl Z this and show you how to add another ship to it. You have to add a comma here, paste here, and now this counts as a new ship. This is called a JSON file, and it's used to save data, to store data basically. And everything in between these brackets is one ship. This is another ship, and it's separated by a comma. So if I want another ship, I'll have to place another comma, copy this, paste this, and there doesn't have to be a comma below that. But I'm going to cancel that because we don't have that many. Star Destroyer in a galaxy far, far away. Name of the object. I already asked Nicholas to rename this if it's not that much of an issue, but that's basically the name of the prefab, which is Star Destroyer. I'm going to press F2, copy it to make sure that I get the capital D and type it exactly the same. Alt tab, select, Ctrl V. And now it's named correctly. You can set the health here, you can set the speed, the turn rate, acceleration, the metal and the power cost, the build time. Actually the build time for big ships is usually 30 seconds. For small ships it's, for medium ships it's 20, for small it's 10, something along those lines. Thumbnail, this is the image that will be used. I'm not actually sure how to do this yet, this thumbnail. I'll have to ask Nicholas. But if I figure it out, I'll add it as an annotation in the video, or I'll just make an uploaded video in the future. I think this is just the name of the thumbnail. Actually, if I type thumbnail here, okay, so it's actually this. Let me get back to you in a second. Actually, I'm already back. I know what to do. So we have this thumbnail. I'm going to edit it in Paint. I'm going to delete this. I don't want bright red in the game. That looks terrible. So I'm going to make this for the... You can use an image as well, of course. Battlestar. Something like this. Save. Then I'm going to duplicate this. Oh, Ctrl D in Windows is delete, not duplicate. Ctrl Z, Ctrl C, Ctrl V. And I'm going to call this Battlestar Poseidon. And the other font I'm going to name Star Destroyer. Right. So I'm going to edit this. Select this color because I forgot which one it was. Delete. Fill it up. Star Destroyer. Okay, this looks quite bad. 27. Still looks quite bad, but you know, you should probably use it in an image instead. You don't have to use text here. I'm just using text because I don't want to look up an image right now. Right, so this is the name of that. Then we go back to the script that we were in called ship modifications. So for the Star Destroyer, we want this thumbnail. And for the Poseidon, we want this thumbnail. I'm pressing F2 to select this. You don't have to add .png behind it, but this should now work. Clear. We have a ship. Here you can also make your own modules for the mod. That means you can have a module that's different than the modules that can be found in the game. You can use that to make ships way faster, make the weapons range bigger, make the weapon damage modifier bigger, number of projectiles per salvo. So if you have a missile launcher that fires 10 missiles and you have a module that increases it by 1, it fires 11. This all speaks for itself. Shield health is a flat value, I think. Right. Make sure that only the needed files are in the Assets Resources mod. Click on Stellar Warfare Editor / build mod at the top. I'm gonna go back first for build mod. Okay, while this is building, we'll have a look at this. Get your mod file from assets.modexport. Yeah, I'll wait for a bit for this this mod building to be done. It should take a minute, and then we'll go continue with this step. It should take a minute, and then we'll go continue with this step. Right, so it's done building now, and what we need to do is go to the mod export folder, which can be found here, and then we right click, show in Explorer. This is the mod we just made. I'm going to rename it to Battle Star Destroyer. Amazing name, if I say so myself. I'm gonna go back to the instructions. Name it, yep, we just did this. Put it into Documents, Tense Games, Stellar Warfare, Mods. I think I already have this folder open somewhere. Mods. Yeah, I do. It's this one. So what I'm going to do is take it from the other folder. Not this one, not this one, not this one, not this one. Mod export, this one. Copy. Paste. Alright. And I'm also going to try to find that thumbnail for one of them. I renamed them. Copy this. Paste it here. These images are the images that will be used for the mod if you upload it to the workshop. It's very important that these are less than 1 megabyte. You can use Paint or whatever program to rescale that. Alright, so now we have the mod in the correct folder, and we can load the mod locally and play with it locally. So yeah, for using it on your own PC, it already works. For putting it on the workshop, we need another step, and we'll do that in a second. But I'm first going to show you how it looks like in game right now. Go to mods. This one I already had loaded, but I'm going to unload that, and I'm going to load this instead. This one might not update, but just ignore that. As long as it's in this loaded mod folder, it's good. Main menu. And we should be able to see the ships in the ship editor now. I click main menu. I think I did. Alright, I don't know why it's not doing that. I'm going to restart the game real quick. Right, so I did find an issue just now. We're going to work on fixing that, but the mod didn't work for me just now, and I assume it's because both the Star Destroyer prefab and Star Destroyer thumbnail were named exactly the same. That could be one of two things. That might be the reason. So I renamed this to Star Destroyer 1, and I also, in the ship modifications.json, changed the thumbnail to Star Destroyer 1. And in addition to that, I removed everything in between the built-in modules bracket. There was a laser shield in there. So either the laser shield made it so that it didn't work, or the naming of the object and the thumbnail being the exact same. But yeah, I changed that as I just mentioned. And now, it's important that after that you build the mod again and move the mod again to the correct folder. So from the mod export folder to your documents, Dance Games, Stellar Warfare folder. Now when we look at the mods, this is the one I just made. Back to main menu. Then go to the fleet editor. And here are the two ships. They're in this list. So if you now start the game, I can't really show it in game either because, well, I can. It just takes a while to get the resources up, so I'll be doing that right now. 1,000, 1,000, 850, 850. Wait, let me make them cheaper before testing, and then I'll show you guys in a second after I started the game and collected the resources. I forgot that I could just boot up Base Assault because it starts with everything unlocked.
Building.
So I can just make them. Remember, you can replace the thumbnails yourself.
Ready for orders.
New ship constructed.
Bam! Reinforcements have arrived, guys.
Underway. Underway.
New ship constructed.
As you can see, the engines on the Battlestar Poseidon are a bit bright.
Underway, sir.
But hey, we now have a fleet.
Underway.
And there you go. This concludes the modding tutorial. If you want to support the project, please go to patreon.com/tensegames, and that way you can get some custom ships into the game and some other rewards.
Yes. Underway, sir.
Of course, the modding tool will continue being developed. We won't just, leave it at this. We do plan to add more different weapon options. We plan to make a campaign editor or something along those lines so that you can make your own missions, all sorts of stuff like that. Ooh. Looks like the AI is already creating the unmaker. Interesting. Bit bright though. So I'll be destroying that first.
Sir.
And I'll also be putting this on the bug list because this is not supposed to be in the game, at least not in this capacity just yet. Looks cool though.
Ship under attack.
Should probably put a clipping distance on it.
Ready to embark.
Here we go.
Engines ready.
There we go. That's it. I'll be wrapping up the video now and talk to you guys later.